The 4 matches already taken place today in the Premier League. Manchester United with a 2-1 comeback win away at Crystal Palace. Joshua Zirkzee and Mason Mount on target after Jean-Philippe Mateta put the Palace in front from the penalty spot. Boubacar Kamara's winner was enough for Aston Villa at home to Wolves. Slight shock at the City ground as Brighton won 2-0 away at Sean Dyche's team to Kuiper and to Simas with the goals. But the big story so far came on the other side of the capital at the London Stadium. Liverpool back on track in the Premier League at least. Alexander Isak's first ever Premier League goal and a late strike from Cody Gakpo means that the defending champions are heading back to Merseyside with 3 vital points in the bag. Next, all attention now focuses on here and StamfordBridge. An opportunity for Arsenal to extend their lead at the top of the table, only with a 4-point edge over Pep Guardiola's team. Victory today would make that 7 and throw down a real marker as we head into the final month of 2025. And we have had plenty of recent success in this fixture under Mikel Arteta, unbeaten in the last 7 against Chelsea. 1-0 win at home, and they drew 1-1 here last season thanks to Gabriel Martinelli's late intervention. But they've not won at StamfordBridge in a Premier League game since 2022. Gabriel Magalhaes, the hero that time out, he's of course absent today and will be missing until January with a groin injury. Chelsea without a win in this particular London derby since 2018 at home at least. So an opportunity for a real change of the record. Anthony Taylor, the match referee, is ready to get us underway, and it will be Arsenal in their traditional red and white. They get us started, going from left to right. Chelsea in all blue as we get underway in the final Premier League game on match week 13. David Raya with the well pinned forward. It's nodded away for an Arsenal throw-in. Travis Chalobah just gets there in front of Mikel Merino. Merino, of course, continuing in that unorthodox position as a false 9. I anticipate that we will see Arsenal's actual number 9, Victor Gyökeres, at some point this evening, but not fit enough to start. Bukayo Saka not able to keep that throw-in in play. It'll be a goal kick for Chelsea. Oh, Sanchez just frustrated that ball wasn't tossed to him quickly there as to fetch it himself. Should stab him on under the halfway line. Pedro is the target, but it's seen back to Raya by Mosquera. Twisted high into the night. The dealt was on the halfway line by Pedro Neto. Which side yet to settle in a couple of minutes. It's been 2 goalkeepers that have seen the majority of the ball. Here is Raya again. The pressure from João Pedro, and he just that one up to the halfway line. Merino as well to win his first tussle with Caicedo as he dropped off, and it's a free kick as well. Just another little update on the live rankings. Chelsea actually sit to 4th following confirmation of Aston Villa's win over Wolves. So as it stands, they're 6 points behind Arsenal. Arsenal, City, Villa, Chelsea. Liverpool's win has boosted them to 8th in the table. 21 points for Arne Slot's team, and a welcome result in East London. Correa stunk rearing into the back of Bukayo Saka there, and Ashley Taylor immediately is called over as captain. Reece James for a quick chat. Did very well up against Lamine Yamal in midweek. Marco Correa, and another very tricky operator in Bukayo Saka who's up to today. And clear foul there as Saka just tries to spin over the halfway line and collected by the Spaniard. Lee Warren should be in from Taylor, and Reece James is happy to let things continue. Free kick quickly taken by Rice to Saka, who go up for Correa again here. Neto will dart back and lend a hand. Message done well there, but it's the final touch off the Chelsea man. Bukayo Saka thought decision has got against him there. His opinion, the assistant referee here, Bukayo Saka, he's somewhat surprised. He's certainly seen that Pedro Neto stepped across and he's dindled up behind for a corner, but not in favour of Arsenal's number 7. Chelsea get us back underway. They look towards the halfway line. Reece James will lay that off to Esteban, his first involvement of the afternoon. Brazilian teenager. Yes, it is third Champions League goal against Barcelona in midweek. He's only scored once in the Premier League this season, the memorable winner against Liverpool. Really developing into a Premier League star. Ready. The foul there inside the centre circle this time. Right on Caicedo, and Caicedo's given Mikel Merino a piece of his mind there. It is a derby after all. There will be a few snappy challenges. It's a clear foul from Rice. I don't think too many complaints, and see Taylor should tell Caicedo to calm down, because he does shove Merino to the floor in the aftermath. Fouls have been the dominant theme of the opening 5 minutes. Here is Caicedo again. Nice little pop through the eyes into Reece James. He's brought down inside the centre circle. Fails with the referee momentarily, because that pass is zipped in behind Julian Timber. Will be pulled back here, and Anthony Taylor has a decision to make as Martin Zubimendi, who catches Reece James there. And we are going to have the first card of the game. James just too sharp for Zubimendi, and service to the Spanish international. Not a great deal that he could do to get out of James's way, but you just catch him. Zubimendi possibly a victim of the sheer volume of fouls that we've seen in the European stages, and he sees the first yellow card of the game. Free kick taken short by Chelsea and worked back with Sir Robert Sanchez. Now here is James again, just dropping deep midway side his own half to lay that back to Wesley Fofana. Now Shadowban. The Arsenal players letting to pressure on Sanchez and forced into a long clearance, and Calafiori gets there just before Esteban to throw in for Chelsea. Over in their right back spot for Busto. It's touchy opening stages here. No attempts on target just yet. No opportunity for either Raya or Sanchez to make a save. William Esteban try and make something out of that, but he's eventually snuffed out by Hincapié. Confusing my Chelsea Brazilian wingers with past and present. And then she's worked all the way back to Sanchez. Dinks up towards Pedro, but he loses out to Hincapié. Now Mosquera, clear ball forward into Merino and seized upon by Travis Shadowban. Again, tries that quick switch over the top for Esteban, but not quite on the same page as his defender. There's David Raya, the Arsenal goalkeeper. Sweeps it across to Mosquera, the summer signing from Valencia for third. In the last couple of weeks, obviously the injury to Gabriel is a major concern for the Calafetta. No William Saliba today either. See first Premier League start together for Hincapié and Mosquera, and real chest against the Chelsea team in very, very strong form. Julian Timber also free kick there. He felt he was barged to the ground. No, says the referee. Caicedo was chasing him over the halfway line and just make contact. Now they just in the opinion of the referee. Throw in for Chelsea. So just tosses that into a left channel for Enzo Fernandez to give chase, but Hincapié gets across back to Raya. 3 is little to pick between the two sides coming into this game. As I mentioned before, kick-off both convincing Champions League wins at home in midweek. Barca put to the sword here at StamfordBridge, and Arsenal very, very convincing against Bayern Munich. Competing in 16 games across all competitions. At this stage of the season, Mikel Arteta's team that August defeat to Liverpool is still the only game they've lost. 25-26. Buoyant from it. Still one Jardy win over Tottenham as well last time out. Hat-trick for Eberechi. North London derbies don't go good better than that. Chelsea just one defeat in their last 10. That shock loss to Sunderland back in October. The only negative points against Maresca recently. In over 10 minutes, it's surely been a match of that theme. Two teams close in fun, close in the Premier League table. Here is Steve Mosquera. Rolls that back over the halfway line to Declan Rice, who steps in as a sweeper momentarily. Now Zubimendi tries to feed that down the Arsenal left flank for Calafiori to gallop away. Put out by Reece James. Now Fernandes. Seda. James has found himself a new lease of life in recent weeks. Moved into midfield from his more custom right-back position. Malo Gusto was first choice for Enzo Maresca there now, and change his versatility means that he's slotted in very, very comfortably in midfield, with Enzo Fernandes able to just edge forward as this ball and keep Caicedo with James minding the shot at the back of the Blues' Engelbert. Declan Rice, meanwhile, ran into trouble there, just owns around inside the centre circle and gets a toe on it to prevent Reece James from winning that tussle. So this is the final Premier League game for the weekend here on LiveScore. But if you're sticking with us this Sunday evening, we've got an 8 p.m. start in La Liga. Real Madrid away at Girona. You see another yellow card here as Marc Cucurella chases Bukayo Saka back into his own half. And that's a second poor challenge from Cucurella on Saka. It's a card apiece. His first challenge on Cucurella a few months ago was arguably worse than that one, but again, just clumsy, and Saka so intelligent in those situations, just gets his body in between Matt and Paul and draws the foul. Mikel Arteta's going absolutely ballistic on the sidelines. A deserved booking for Marc Cucurella. Really, really tense opening stages here, and again the two captains called over by Anthony Taylor. Saka, who's back on his feet. For the seen a red card in the Premier League today. Lucas Paquetá was dismissed in the closing stages against Liverpool. Dissent was the issue in that case for the Brazilian, and certainly did the help West Ham's chances of holding off the Reds. Here come Arsenal, way down the left-hand side. That's quick sweep it across from Trevor Chalobah. They throw into Arsenal low, push down their left-hand side, just in front of the Chelsea penalty area, and Jefton Rice will amble across here. Arsenal, of course, the Kings of the set. These Kings are long throwing. It's being copied right the way across the Premier League right now, and Mikel Arteta has had to tweak his original plans for these type of situations that keep Arsenal fresh and effective. Rice held this one in towards the near post, towards Mosquera. Dealt with initially by Chelsea as he brings it down at the edge of the box and feeds it across to Saka. Chance here for Bukayo Saka. Big save from Sanchez. And that is the first opening of the game. And a really important intervention from Breno Sanchez. João Pedro tries to storm away. That's another card. Mosquera this time, who's caught out of position as he tried to sprint back and shouting João Pedro. Really good strength initially from the Chelsea strikers to get away from Saka. He tried to drag him down initially, and then Mosquera just spirals into him from behind. 3 cards with less than 15 minutes on the clock, and might be sensing that it could be red here before the end of proceedings. Saka's opportunity there takes it really well just on the angle in the right-hand side of the penalty and keeps it down. Sanchez sticks out and pokes it denied. Poor clearance from Sanchez. Mendy hoists it back in. Chelsea appear for offside here. And eventually, the flag does go up. Stop quick enough to clear back out of the box. And Mikel Merino falls back by the officials. A call from Robert Sanchez. Just nearly enough distance on it did. Clear offside there against two Arsenal players, Rice and Merino, who stayed inside the box. Chelsea can get us back restarted. A quiet start to the game, Solskjaer Pedro, but a real example of exactly what he can do. Pace to burn on the counter-attack, and Mosquera clearly concerned despite how far away he was from the Arsenal goal. Couldn't feel that he had little choice but to foul it in that situation, and unfortunately that means he's on the wall into the rest of the game. Sanchez again, poor ball forward, but Esteban shifts them out, gets there in front of Declan Rice inside the centre circle. Lovely bit of skill to dip away from his fellow number 41. James now goes down under the challenge of every Chelsea. No foul this time, says the referee. Good turn inside the centre circle, Martinelli, but loses out to Caicedo. Farner will get across in back for Chelsea to deal with that one. Chatterbox. Just over 15 minutes gone here as you're a little late joining us after a busy afternoon schedule in the Premier League. Saka tries to outflank the Chelsea defence for the ball into the box there. It's dealt with by Chatterbox. No goals. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Just that one saved attempt from Saka. Denied by Sanchez so far. Cards are plenty though. Correa's over Mendy and Mosquera. Ball in Anthony Taylor's notebook. Here goes Esteban. Space to get away down the right hand side. Tries to find Neto. Really important challenge there from Declan Rice. Timed it perfectly to go to ground against Neto. Looking to pull the trigger from the edge of the 6-yard line, and Rice back in position. Just that job so effectively, Declan Rice, when she centre-backs need him. Normally it's Saliba and Gabriel. Is that unfamiliar pairing of Hincapié and Mosquera. Ever more important for Rice to be right place, right time, and he certainly was there. Here's Fernandes. Spins away on the halfway line into the feet of Neto. He's hassled by Julian Timber. You throw in for Arsenal. Yeah, right that spot just in front of the halfway line, just in front of Mikel Arteta. Having a few words with Neto and Timber there. Keeps on to step back inside his technical area, the Arsenal boss. Saka gets out in front of Cucurella again. Spins it over to the left-hand side for Calafiori. Is Mosquera. Sheltered in that. Every time Arsenal get the ball and they're trying to move forward, Rice will go back in and sit alongside Mosquera and Hincapié with Calafiori and Timber instructed to go high and wide. Almost at best, sit ball into the centre circle for Shimmerly to Marino, but Marino didn't quite read that one. Fernandes will take over. It is Esteban. Schwasser. Step away from Calafiori. And into throw in for Chelsea. Pedro knocks that on for Esteban. Pedro go beyond him. Tries to steer across into box and throws for Esteban. Skied by the Brazilian. And that's Chelsea's best chance of the game so far. He drives on the crowd behind. Down to dry his goal. I think he knows he should have done better there, Esteban. All right, run down this right-hand side. John Pedro. Mosquera gets the block in initially and just six up perfectly for Esteban. 12 yards out. Maybe he's just trying to get too much power into that one. It's spun back perfectly for him. He didn't need to. Overhit that one. He tries to stick his laces right through the pole, and we succeeds in firing it over the top over his crossbar. Chelsea with a bit of burst of attacking threat there. Clearance away over the halfway line for Arsenal. Martinelli loses out to Fofana. Eze will get Nate just before Caicedo in the centre circle, but needed support there and lost out eventually. Chelsea worth that one back to what Sanchez is. Shuttlebot. The edge of his own penalty area. Caicedo. Now James. I still a passenger play this from Chelsea. Now Augusto just drifted in off that right hand side over the halfway line for Estimat. He wants to get at Calafiori. Comes inside. Mr. Owl. And again, high wide and not so handsome for the Brazilian. Good angle there, 25 yards out. Just shapes it in onto his left foot. And Calafiori quite able to deal with him so far. And nothing he can do about it, but Ryan confident just to watch that whistle over the angular post and bar. 2 chances in quick succession for the 18-year-old. Here's Mosquera. Rolls that mother league halfway on the Chibamendi. Calafiori now gets away from Estevao as the youngster is forced to do a bit of defending. Gusto will go up against Martinelli. Now back with Calafiori. Marino just tried to roll that back into the path of Calafiori, but it's blocked off by Chelsea and cleared away. Chelsea players repeated for handball there. Not enduring in the opinion of Anthony Taylor. Is Rice. To Eze on the halfway line. And seems to be the strategy from Mikel Arteta. Allow Rice to drop a little bit deeper. Eze will pull in as a number 8 alongside Chibamendi and give Saka and Martinelli the license to step in as needed. And Chibamendi has an ambitious ball out to Calafiori and gives away a throw in for Chelsea. First pace and the defence there from Chalobah. Fofana. James adopted a similar strategy to Rice for Arsenal, just dropping in. Trying to link with Fofana and Chalobah and get Chelsea moving in a positive direction. On ball tinged onto the halfway line from Sanchez. Calafiori gets there for Estiba. 2 Arsenal players gone down inside the centre circle there. Eze call, Chibamendi, and Enzo Fernandez. It's the Monday spirit of the game that gone without a booking. Low to the top, quickly played in there. Pedro just not able to link up with Enzo Fernandez as he wanted. Fernandez is less along. An Arsenal player there inside the centre, inside the Arsenal penalty. I think he's sure in Timber. Chasing back there to complete the clearance. Back on his feet now though. It's a quick signature that from João Pedro just to try and loft the ball in. So Fernandez is always a willing runner from midfield. Saka wins out again against Cucurella. Mikel Arteta and Enzo Maresca both straight out of their technical areas to park instructions at the 2 players in front of them. Some quarter of the game done here. No goals. And create excitement at either end, really. Esteban off target twice and Saka denied by Sanchez. It's very tight, very cagey. Chelsea defensively just solid in recent weeks. They've kept 3 successive Premier League clean sheets, shut out Burnley, Wolves and Tottenham. Suspension Barcelona on Tuesday evening. Here they come again. Tested out once more down the right, but that's curve ball forward. Stowe had stalled beyond him. Stowe's hooked that pass and goal kick for Arsenal. We have to be showing a replay of that challenge from Timbers. Give a cover on Enzo Fernandez. Fights a bit of defending from the Dutchman. Fernandez not in control of the ball as it dropped, but a front foot piece of marking from Jordan Timber. Now Esteban will get the space that didn't get crossed into the box. So these a take for Raya. Becoming more and more influential in this game, the forward Palmier Deschamps. Puts its plays constantly haranguing Anthony Taylor over little off the ball incidents. Players being pulled to the ground and blocked off. Managed the game quite well so far. Now experienced officials in the Premier League, Taylor, and wants to be sure that this game doesn't descend into a real slugfest. Martinelli there just Jude Piquerez off the field, seen behind for a goal kick to Chelsea. Sanchez with the restart. In that long ball deep into Arsenal territory, aimed at Pedronis. Terribly by Mosquera and Gimendy. Scaring to step forward into the centre circle for Eze. He's pushed to the floor there. Was this Caicedo who's been chasing down and chasing around. Clear foul there. Hands in the back of Eze, and probably the next player to have his name taken. He's just been given a warning, final warning probably by Anthony Taylor. Free kick for us from midway inside their own half. Just right to centre for Mosquera to toss that forward up towards Saka. Correa wins the first contact. Cleared away by the Spaniard. But this was a foul right in the middle of the Chelsea half. This time Marino almost climbing on the back of Caicedo. Difficult to see where the spark comes from in this one. Few forays and jinks and twists from Esteban over on the Chelsea right. Bukayo Saka always a threat for Arsenal down there. Right flank. So every distal for Sanchez or Raya, the two Spanish goalkeepers, to occupy themselves so far. Here is David Raya. Initial ball poured into the centre circle for Calafiori. Chased all the way across the pitch so by Reece James. Really good black here from James, and Calafiori's come across, pulls him down. Another card. It's 3 for Arsenal now. Calafiori was a long way from home there. Was all the way across from left to right. James just too quick, too powerful for him. Just gets in front of him, the Italian. Pulls him down. No real other option there for Anthony Taylor but to issue another bucket for Arsenal. We've got themselves a free kick to defend here. A chance for Chelsea to bring the big men forward. 35-40 yards from goal, just left the centre with James and Neto over this one. Stolen a few yards to bring that a little bit closer to the goal. Neto curled it in towards the penalty spot, headed away by Julian Timber. Sharp Pedro will chase after it over the Chelsea right hand side, just in front of the corner flag. Calafiori to put the pressure up. Pedro trying to work an angle here to get a cross in, and eventually Calafiori gets his toe on him. And despite the Chelsea appeals, that's going to be a goal kick for the away side. My call from the referee as well. Samsura gets the tackle, but stuck to the toe of Joao Pedro before spinning off. Cucurella direct this time. Spotted the run from Timber, who's bombed past Bukayo Saka. And with Sanchez will volley that back over the halfway line out for a throw-in. Chelsea players are happy with Mikel Arteta then. Kick the ball back onto the pitch to allow Jordan Timber to come all the way back into his own half to take it in. And Fernandes just warned by the referee there. Mikel Arteta getting a talking to the fourth official, Sam Barrow, as well. Timber will get us back underway. Tips over the halfway line to take this one. It's dealt with ease by Chelsea, and Anton Taylor here. She's put across to speak to Arteta and Maresca. You're happy with how long Timber took to take that, and the fact that he'd tried to squeeze a few inches. Encouraged by his manager. Just continues to flow off this game. Very little pattern, and Schumacher is heavily involved on the sidelines. Raya with the clearance. Taken down on the halfway line. And not sold by Chalabar. Fernandes shushed about. Here's the nod to Pedro. It's a mistake at the back for Arsenal. Confederate has shot away. No. Crowded out eventually. Shin Cape there got himself in a mess. Looked as if he dealt with the dangers to start with, and then Pedro just managed to wriggle himself clear. Couldn't get a shot away at Rice. And Mosquera descended on him in a split second, and the chance was gone. Fernandes goes down in the aftermath of hitting for a foul. Notices the referee. Based on the amount of opportunities we've had here in the first 30 minutes, I'm chalking that one down as an opportunity for Chelsea. Not had too many. Jack Pedro there, maybe just taken a bit by surprise for the error by Hincapie. Right on the edge of his own penalty area, and Arsenal just get numbers back in an instant. But Pedro can't get a shot away, and Hincapie breathes a sigh of relief there. And Pedro just takes that as quickly as he can. He might have had a better opportunity to test David Raya. Danger averted for Arsenal. It was right. Let's touch it up to the halfway line. One back by Calafiori. Just to roll that into feet of Bukayo Saka. Actually, they'll lay off from Saka, who's looking for Cucurella. They're looking to get away from Cucurella on that. It's dealt with by Chelsea. Breakaway down there, right hand side. Esteban up against Hincapie. Wants to get in on that left foot. Rolled off to Fernandes. Straight at David Raya. That's Chelsea's first attempt on target in the game. And starting to grow a little bit more into the ascendancy here. The home side has been pretty much level pegging. They've had the better of it in the last 5 minutes or so, and Saka not happy with Cucurella in the opportunity for Arsenal at the other end. Chelsea quick as a flash on the front foot. Esteban causing problems again, and so 3 yards from goal. Can't really get any shape on that end zone. Fernandes easily seals it by David Raya. Here's Mosquera. Arsenal looking to build out for the edge of their own penalty. That's a really poor ball. Big to the centre circle. Put out by Chelsea. Quickly worked João Pedro. 4 Arsenal players around him on the edge of the box. Loses out. Here comes Jordan Timber. Saka. Chased in field by Cucurella. Fouled by Cucurella. The Arsenal players run straight to the referee here. You know what they're asking for, Cucurella. That's his 4th foul on Bukayo Saka by my count, and he's already on a card. And Taylor's just making the point to Bukayo Saka that he has one final life left. Mark Cucurella. Engage another captain's powwow. Sector furious there as he's clearly being targeted by Cucurella. Said it before, say it again, I do get the sense. We will see Anthony Taylor reaching for a red at some point. Keeps it at 11 via Adams now. There's actually a Premier League record for Arsenal, 3 bookings inside the first 30 minutes of a Premier League game. That's the first time it's happened in the Premier League. Based on records go back to 2006-2007. 2 plays come down here. Caicedo and Mikel Merino play on to the moment, says the referee. They're both hurt and both appealing to medical attention here. Taylor will have to bring a halt to proceedings this set. 50-50 between the 2 players, certainly on first glance. Taylor will get the medics off first before deciding how to deal with this. The decision was potentially in the ring. Old player's gone for the ball, and as it quickly popped off, and Arsenal tried to build forward and relied on a replay just to assess exactly what went down. Caicedo seems to be in more pain. Poor touch initially from Mikel Merino. Caicedo's gone clattering in on the Arsenal man. Because the dust settles on that one. It could be a big decision incoming for Anthony Taylor. It's a shocking challenge from Moyes Caicedo. He catches Mikel Merino over the top of the ball. He's not one of the players who's been cautioned so far. Pep, as Arteta calls his players over here, Anthony Taylor just asking Bukayo Saka to give him a moment as he's in conversation with his 2 VAR officials, John Brooks and Eddie Smart. Caicedo did seem to hurt himself in making that challenge, but that might not necessarily save him if the officials deem that to be violent and out of control. Mikel Merino back on his feet here. Taylor so far has not been instructed to double check this by the pitch side monitor. Caicedo was also back up. Plenty to unpick here for the man in the middle. Managing right at centre and everything so far today. Anthony Taylor is trying to get a card out. It appears as if Caicedo's going to get away with a caution here. That is the decision from Anthony Taylor. 5th of the game so far, 2nd for Chelsea. And for my money, Moises Caicedo was slightly fortunate on that one. Anthony Taylor here. Which is telling Moises Caicedo to step back, because there has been a word in his ear that he needs to come and take a look at this. We all know in the Premier League, certainly so far this season, what that generally means. Yellow card is the initial call from the referee. Certainly on the replays that we've been shown, it certainly is a case for this to be checked for serious foul play. That is the word that's been handed down to Anthony Taylor by Brooks and Eddie Smart. Booking as it stands, will that be upgraded? My view is this is a red, but it's the opinion of Anthony Taylor that is the most important. Merino just pops it off too quickly for Caicedo, who's coming in to block the ball, and the force that he goes into Merino with. This has to be a red card, surely. Just double check it here with his VAR officials. The StamfordBridge stands. The intention, and the red card is out, and Caicedo is gone. A look of absolute incredulity on the face of Moises Caicedo. He can't quite believe it. He's been told not to go back onto the pitch by the fourth official, Sam Barrett. It's a shocking challenge for the Chelsea midfielder, Reece James, and Enzo Fernandez is straight over to Anthony Taylor. But James is getting an explanation over the detail behind the decision. Caicedo, as I mentioned, has hurt himself in making that challenge. This ended his afternoon before half-time here. It seems to be significant damage to Mikel Merino, but Chelsea are down 2-10. But a game that's been bubbling and boiling. Caicedo sees red. He's done. Chelsea will have to play the remaining 5 minutes of the first half and the hell of the second with 10 men. After a really, really nasty challenge. No indication of substitution for Enzo Maresca at this stage. He might just look to hold on until half-time. You said it's significant chunk of added minutes you'd expect, but 40 on the clock here. The play is going to restart over on that far left-hand side with a throw-in for Arsenal, which, based on that lengthy call made to send off Caicedo, seems like a lifetime ago. Rice into the near post, headed back out to Declan Rice. All back to the halfway line, sir. Martin Zubimendi. Mosquera and Hincapié budge they forward. Here's Eze. Rice just squares across to Julian Timber. Midway side the Chelsea half of the field. Now Saka. James has just stepped out here on the left-hand side momentarily to cover. Pass in from Saka, headed away by Cucurella. Back in by Rice. A free kick for Chelsea. Shadabar has gone down. It's Kennedy was caught in the face there. There's another card out here. Pierre Hincapié who challenging there with Shadabar. Catches him in the side of the face with his arm. And Chelsea players, as you would expect, straight from now, the referee asking why that's not being looked at by VAR. Surely foul by Hincapié, but probably not enough to be graded from yellow to red. Full bookings for Arsenal. Hincapié, Calafiori, Mosquera and Zubimendi. Correa on card for Chelsea, and of course was Caicedo now in the bath. And Maresca's conversation with Toshin Adebayo and sent out to Wilmot from the Chelsea bench. So Taylor, who has did front and centre of everything so far today, is once again called in for a chat with James and Saka. But the only real talking point of the game is the amount of fouls and cards and bust-ups. Almost nothing to report in terms of opportunities to find a breakthrough. Shadabar is held back to his feet by the Chelsea medical staff, and looks as if it'll be okay to carry on. Anything related to a head injury, of course, has to be checked and cross-referenced with a cushion review. Teixeira just keen to get the game back underway here. Reece James is furious that there doesn't seem to be any further punishment or review on this one. We need to get an update on whether they are looking at this as a possible red card offence. Shadabar is okay to continue. Just shoving the impact of Hincapié's arm on his face to the referee to try and see if that could possibly change his mind over a yellow to a red. It's a hell of a shine who has got under his eye. He's been going 10 rounds rather than 45 minutes at StamfordBridge. Chelsea are back to 10 men. Chalobah push it back onto the field of play, and Sanchez with the long clearance. Fury there just sits off Esteban. It's the final minute of the first half here, and all eyes on Sam Barrett to see how much he adds on. Chelsea's 4th red card of the season. It's 13 games gone. And on the club record for Premier League campaign is 2015-16, where he had 5 across the full 38 matches. Despite the positive momentum currently behind Rest of Seamus, a worrying aspect of their game, that lack of discipline, particularly against big opponents. Nice little work there from Saka. Manages to free Trippier down the right-hand side. Chalobah gets across. Corner for Arsenal. Timber and Saka have done that well so far, switching positions, and Saka will roll midfield and allow Timber to race past him. That'll be Saka to take down this right-hand side for Arsenal. Calafiori, Marino, Mosquera, Hincapié all up. Fall in the Arsenal bus due at the back post. Chelsea need to stay switched on here. Change rested there with Julian Timber. Killed in by Saka. Claimed by Maba Sanchez. Goes first time with the clearance up to the halfway line for Pedro Neto. Ebruchieze will get back and right back to try and block him up. Infield, into the centre circle by Neto. Gusto. Now Esteban. Has to fizz that cross in, was dealt with on the edge of the Arsenal box by Declan Rice. Picked up by Chalobah. Now Gusto again. Pedro Neto trying to dip and weave his way in from the right-hand side. It runs straight into Declan Rice. And we'll have 5 minutes added on. Martinelli trying to roll that back into Wood Price. Back to Martinelli. Big save from Raul Sanchez. And Arsenal just rained it away down the left. Power from Wood in here from Declan Rice, and just rolls it back into the feet of Gabriel Martinelli. Kicks it low, and Sanchez, who shoots at his weight to his left-hand side, just springs back to stick out a hand and keep Chelsea on chance here. Not a great deal to do so far, Robert Sanchez, but when he's been called upon, kept out Saka early on. Now some more difficult save than it appears, despite Martinelli just fizzing it within the frame there for Robert Sanchez, where you'd expect him to make the save, because he was already going in the other direction. It's really impressive that he just gets back and gets a stronger hand on it, and just to keep it out. Fafana will go back to his goalkeeper. Sanchez into the first time today with a bad clearance to the halfway. That picked up by Zubimendi, and Reno will try and roll that in behind the Chelsea net. Now it's a poor touch, and Timber smacked away back into Arsenal territory in the set. Loose touch from Declan Rice, eventually picked up by Calafiori. 3 minutes of the additional 5 played. Yodas was certainly dealing Arsenal after the break. 11 versus 10 to just try and take this game away from Chelsea. The host will sit in, if you imagine, a draw against the leaders with 10 men. Be the worst result in the world at this point for Enzo Maresca. Fafana steams across and concedes a corner. To manage these final moments of the first period, the home team. Robert Sanchez barking instructions to his defenders in front of him. This is really loaded in by Declan Rice over on the Arsenal left-hand side. essentially be the final act of the first half here. First half, there was everything, put a goal, punch clear by Sanchez. Martinelli just tried to muff that first time back out to Declan Rice, but he makes a bit of a hash of it, and that's all bring it away for Chelsea. So Eze and Wright for company, and decides to just check in field. Here's Reece James on the halfway line. Needs options in front of him. Gets it back across to that right-hand side for Malo Gusto. Arsenal back in numbers now. Pedro Neto takes over, wants to get along like that foot. Curled in by Neto and headed away. Gusto will pick it up though. Dipped it back into the penalty area. This is better from Chelsea as we tick toward the end of the first half. Saka just gets his body in between Correa and the ball on the right line for Arsenal. Did really well there. Didn't panic the play of Saka. Eventually Raya will clear it away. Chelsea will both catch that though, and Chelsea have a throw in on the halfway line. So we'll be on indeed. 5 additional minutes of work. Held up by Sam Barrett. Timber goes to the back of Enzo Fernandez there. Right on the halfway line and in front of Anthony Taylor. And Rashid pushes away at Mikel Merino, and Taylor chooses to let that one go. So final few seconds here. Chelsea will take their time over this one. Shadow bar. Checks it up towards the edge of Arsenal's territory. Pedro will battle away with Christian Mosquera. And just to shield him by Enzo Fernandez. He can't get away from Mosquera either. Wants to head to the corner flag here. Enzo Fernandez, and tick the clock now. Mosquera won't give it up though, and he's gone down. Mosquera. That is certainly a bit theatrical. Enzo Fernandez just tries to bustle past him and knocks into the floor. No foul. And Anthony Taylor, who has been right at the heart of everything in the first half here at StamfordBridge, called side. No goalless. Plenty of controversy. The main talking point as we take a break here. All flash goal is Moises Caicedo's red card. Is that Chelsea will have to do it the hard way in the second period. At the break here, all flash goal. It is Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. We'll be back with all the second half action in just over 15 minutes. I've been down on the break. I might make one, but you know, like, The first 45 minutes, of course, dominated by a flurry of bookings for both sets of players. Cafioris and Cape Mosquera and Zimbabwendi all in the book for Arsenal so far. Well, Cucurella joined them, and of course, Moises Caicedo sent for an early bath just before the end of the first period. One change apiece of both managers. Estimao, Ars, Alejandro Garnacho on for Chelsea. So the Chelsea team, Sanchez in goal, Pusto, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella, Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, Garnacho, Neto, and João Pedro. The change in left back for Arsenal was David Raya in goal. Bowser was steadied in for Ricardo Calafiori alongside Hincapié, Mosquera and Timber. And there's Alciu Were for the French six. Eze, Shubamendi, Rice, Saka, Marino and Martinelli. A free kick for Chelsea here. Sile from Hincapié on João Pedro. Zeliarch in goal. And this near right hand side floated in by James. Raya came. Raya had to dash back there as João Pedro tries to knock it back across goal. Poured the hide for a corner. The Arsenal number one crept up his line and then had a change of heart as he just didn't feel like he could get there. Pedro trying to help it back into a dangerous area. Raya options safety first. First corner of the second half. Those in favour of Chelsea. Whipped into the near post of Victor. Alison's on back guard. Chelsea. Very fun to tell you, in. I was trying to show it, 2 minutes into the second half. It's the Premier League goal of the season. I think that's the fan push for Chelsea. Raya flaps. Flies into the back of the Arsenal net. And he got lammed down with the return. And Mikel Arteta pensive on the sidelines. That is exactly the start to the second half Chelsea would have dreamed of. Fully not expected. Arsenal certainly not ready for it. Smokes it in by James. Shalabar flicks it over. Chu Arsenal players in behind him. Rice, who goes up with him initially, just glances it on the back of his head. Ryan unable to get up off his line inside. And there's nothing that Mosquera or Hincapié could do. Chelsea, a man down, but 1-0 in front. What a start to the second half here. The Chelsea players with the bicep celebration in front of their fans. But he just showed mental strength here now. They've got 40 minutes to battle in and try and hold off the league leaders and inflict just their second defeat in the 25-26 season. A long road to go without. 50 minutes gone. As Arsenal get us back underway here, and Chelsea are in front. Jesse Capper just steps over the halfway line. As the blue block gets back into position. João Pedro up top on his own. Fernandes has moved back into a deeper position alongside Reece James. It's Neto on this near right side. Garnacho over on the left hand side. So it's a 4-4-1 for the home team. Cucurella, Fofana, Shadow Barton, Gusto at the back. Tappe you get. Ball interesting. You talk Gabriel Martinelli. He's just stopped short there, midway side his own half by Gusto. There are two wide players, but look to double up to deal with the threat of Saka on one flanking. Martinelli on the other. And here is Saka. Twinkle toes in front of Alejandro Garnacho. Wants to get on that left foot. Tried to catch Sanchez out at his near post, and Sanchez just about. That is just to save and prevent corner. So important that Garnacho was able to do his defensive duty here. Particularly in this situation that Chelsea find themselves in. Tricking him wide of the post. Sanchez chuffed about, manages to stop the whole thing. Raymond in behind. Now Arsenal will call the tune here now for the remainder of the game. The question is, will they be able to find a goal? But to see up at Anfield, Bastion Aldis is the only time they've failed to score in a game as well this season. That's the challenge thrown down to Mikel Arteta and his players now. Here's Rice, just on the edge of the centre circle inside the Chelsea half of the field. Rolls it to Mosquera. Timber push right up down that right flank, almost next to Saka, and likewise we do with Skelly and Martinelli and Cafe. Now here is Martinelli. Just to step in field and get away from Gusto, but Chelsea man gets a foot in eventually. Just fizzes back to Hincapié. You see plenty of the ball so far. Two got back underway, tries to stoop one. Bombs of a head off Gusto for Lewis Skelly, but Sanchez will eventually get his gloves on that one. And we'll see Chelsea try and stretch this game and pinch every second possible. Anton Taylor already telling Sanchez to get on with it. Fist up towards João Pedro, but it's Seen back to his goalkeeper by Christian Mosquera. There's a bit of movement already on the Arsenal bench. Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Peter Gyökeres, Mani Madueke. All options to come on as needed. Saka is crowded out there by 3 Chelsea players. Fernandes, Garnacho and Cucurella swarming on the gunner skipper. Eventually Cucurella just manages to pop it away. Chelsea happy to just hit that into Arsenal territory and cheat the clock. Running David Reyes dashed over to take over throw-in duties. Here is Rice, midway side his own half of the field. Taylor has caused a halt to receding Tierras. Enzo Fernandez took a whack to the mouth. You can imagine what the Arsenal players think of that look. He fell back to his feet though. No need for treatment. Chelsea, as mentioned in the first half, not beating Arsenal in their last 7. Last victory against them coming back in 2021. There's not one at home here since 2018. Winners from Marcus Alonso. Peter Saka steps in off that right side, rolls it to Mosquera, back with Saka. Timbers are stormed beyond Saka. That passing now just cut off by Chelsea and yeah, bled back onto the halfway line with Zubimendi. Lewis Skenny. Hasn't spent any time at left back so far since he's come on. Miles Lewis Skenny's pushed in field alongside Zubimendi and Declan Rice. There is Zubimendi. Elizabeth Radush took step up. Shot header not able to get across in the centre circle. Saka takes over. Mosquera again. Roll forward by Saka onto Timber. Good crossing position down this right. And she just fizzes into the gloves off Robert Sanchez. James will lead the charge here. And he's caught there by Miles Lewis Skelly. You guessed it. Another card. Arsenal starting to wrap them up now. Stiff caution for Mikel Arteta's team. And this from Reece James. Demanded the ball rolled out to him by Robert Sanchez. And just turns on the burners. Too quick, too direct for the Skelly. Blocks to Marson. No real complaints there. Not really been too many complaints about any of the decisions that Anthony Taylor has made. Especially the cards have been pretty warranted, and despite the need for VAR for the Caicedo sending off, he's chipping back his own judgment in every move that he's made. He's get herself back underway here. Anthony Taylor has just signalled to the bench to allow Chelsea to make the change that have been planning for the last few minutes. So 55 minutes gone, and Liam Delap will take the place of João Pedro. Battering Ram up top. He'll try and occupy those Arsenal defenders and shield from the front. And Chelsea try and hold on to this lead. Hoisted in on the right hand side by Declan Rice. There's an awkward one to deal with, but Gusto, helped out by Pedro Neto, just about manages to do that. James again here. Storming to the midfield, gets away from Martin Zubimendi, kicked over to the far left-hand side. Garnacho on the break here. Declan Rice has got ground to cover to stay with him. He has to block in there, Rice. And the corner for Chelsea. And Timber pushed up so high there. Rice is back on defensive duty with Mosquera and Hincapié. It's part of this dice roll by Arteta, who threw Arsenal into the game. Chelsea have a corner on the exact same side where Trevor Chalobah headed them in front. James takes his time to go over and take this in front of the Chelsea fans. So Fowler is up alongside Chalobah. Delap there trying to pin David Raya to his goal line. James curls it in, near post again, dealt with by Declan Rice. Unnatural, keep it alive over on that far left hand side. Back to Reece James. Floats it in once more. Fafana tried to help it on there, but it's eventually smuggled away by Arsenal, and Martinelli can't quite lead the charge. Gusto gets across. Win back possession for Chelsea. Neto Back to Robert Sanchez. Just pinned that down third in the direction of Garnacho, who just with a throw-in off Julian Timber. And double Arsenal change. Set to go here for the Chelsea man. Noni Madueke scored for Chelsea against Arsenal. Season's gone by. He's being buried alongside Barcelona now. Fancy total, but allow Arsenal to make these changes before that throw-in is taken. Early that is on for Zubamendi. Madueke for Gabriel Martinelli. Straight spot, you would anticipate Martinelli on this near left-hand side. Isn't placed by Madueke. Saka will stay where he is, and Odegaard takes the armband from Bukayo Saka to the middle of the park with depth of rights. Correa with the throw-in. Into the Cetus Delac and try and win another throw in there. I just did concede one. Chelsea substitute. Yasin Kapani driving with the edge of his own penalty area. Offside into the feet of Richese. Now Madueke to the Riskelly. First touch for the Arsenal substitute. Rice. Over to Timber, a bike back. Now Odegaard to get himself involved to Norway International. A very injury disrupted campaign for him so far, and key role in a game like this. Certainly lift his mood and those of the Arsenal fans crammed into that far corner of Stamford Bridge. Gives away possession this time. Odegaard as the injury that traces him back. Here's Rice inside the centre circle. Well on to Bukayo Saka. Correa quits, shut him down on the far right touchline. Odegaard wants to work it onto that left foot. Finds Saka. Him go back to Correa through the byman. Bukayo Saka. And just a finger cross inside box. And the Nico is it. Arsenal level. And the man is not a number 9 with the number 9's finish. 2 yards out. He just waited for Saka to get that onto his left foot. Great ball in from the Arsenal man. Alvarino just gets there fast. Ahead of Gusto. Ahead of Neto. Neto just switches off there. He probably could have dropped back in and helped Gusto a little minute. Alvarino. Too sharp, too brave. Nods that easily beyond Robert Sanchez. His second Premier League goal of the season. He was the hero for Arsenal. A Hun to Chelsea last season. Scored the winner. The bashed man. He's got Arsenal back on terms here just before the hour mark. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Shalavai with the shot. Otana right at the start of the second period. Mikel Merino there. Get too many routine finishes like that. Couldn't really miss. Popped the right onto his head by Bukayo Saka. We are back level here. Enzo Fernandez on the centre circle. Looking for runners either side. Arsenal back in numbers though as just try and make some ground inside the Arsenal half of the field. Cucurella. Chatting's there by Saka. Caught by Saka. And referee here just telling Enzo Fernandez to step away. Saka telling Cucurella back to his feet. No foul actually given there. Certainly seemed as if Saka was excessive in his challenge on Marc Cucurella. Here's for fun. One was the halfway and cut out by Miles Lewis-Skelly. Bounce kindly for Mikel Merino. Now Madueke. Squared in field. Tries to find there's a good interception from Enzo Fernandez. The internet goes to ground there. He's pushed by Hincapié. Referee disagrees. Arsenal quick to get on with. Odegaard tries to fizz that first time over to Bukayo Saka, but it's cut out. Garnacho won't quite catch that. And will go for an Arsenal throw. Nicely poised now, Arsenal getting the equaliser that they needed. Expect they will have the run of things. They've got the man advantage following Caicedo's dismissal. Have they got the crass, the guile to pick through this Chelsea defence, or would it be a set piece, long throw in? Maybe punctures the Blues back line. Rice, the centre circle, rolls it to the right for Martin Odegaard. Now Timber, Saka just steps in field as Timber slopes that one in. Well fielded by Robert Sanchez, who immediately wants to get Chelsea on the front foot with Arsenal out of shape. Neto with pace to burn down this right hand side, wants to get at Piero Hincapié. He's got him on the back foot here, all the way to the byline. Great challenge. Piero Hincapié just recovers there in front of Pedro Neto, and there's a bit of chest beating by the two players. Hincapié, like all centre backs, celebrating that like a goal right in the face of Pedro Neto. Wants to get himself back in position though here. Piero Hincapié. Pedro Neto enjoyed that one as well. Real edge to this now. A bit of chance at course then. As I said, will be reaching for his pocket a few more times. Neto curls it in near post, and that's Taylor. Ready blows his whistle. Martin Odegaard is down here. Ted Blatch trying to block off Wesley Fofana, and it's trading that was caught in the jaw by the Chelsea defender. Corner will be retaken. Odegaard will just follow Fofana back out to the penalty spot. To Neto to reload. Here's to Chelsea. Near post again. Bryce with the header. It's off for Correa. Be a goal kick for Arsenal. Raya first time trying to free Madueke. And Augusto, the last man back there on the halfway line. Really important header. It's too short. Chelsea work caught out. You're going to have to do this, Chelsea. Get back in position. Get back into that low block, but outside the ball. Might have actually stopped short of the Chelsea penalty area there. Neto chasing him back home. He's caught back home here at StamfordBridge. The injured international. Controversial call over the summer to swap StamfordBridge for the Emirates. A pretty positive start to life after trading blue for red. Not quite guaranteed start to for Mikel Arteta by any stretch, but adds real squad depth and versatility, and it's certainly something that Arsenal will need if there's a fire on 3 or 4 fronts in 2026. Here come Chelsea down the left-hand side. Garnacho back to Cucurella. Chalobah, Fofana. Look at the Chelsea possession here as they just try and take the sting out of Arsenal ever so slightly. 65 minutes gone. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. The possession stats really tell the story since the start of the second half. Arsenal have had 3/4 of the ball, got the goal that they needed to level it up, find Mikel Merino. Now needs to find a way to go on and win. Here's Hincapié, just left of centre, halfway into the Chelsea half of the field. Eze is chased backwards by Wiz James. Finds his way out to Mosquera. Martin Odegaard, who's just over into that right-hand pocket. Alongside Saka and Timber. Just wrists the ball into Madueke, knocked down. Fofana will get there before Julian Timber. Eze tries to lift that over the head of Wesley Fofana, but is succeeding. Be caught out by the Chelsea man. Chelsea will now break over on that left. Garnacho stepping in field, does really well just to hold off the challenge of Timber. Neto skipped past Madueke. So Augusto in support here with Miles Lewis-Skelly looking to get back at a rate of knots, and ball in field is rescued eventually by Reece James. Yeah, managing the situation quite well, Chelsea. The in and out there. Ken Falls nicely could play. Tries to bring Garnacho into it, but the ball back into He then to that, but the darting run of Alan Gustav is eventually cleared away. Not that far though. Garnacho picks it up. Tries to fizz the first time cross in. Rice gets there first. Eze helps it up toward the centre circle, and Noni Madueke in. Leslie Fofana has just barged into the back of his old teammate. Free kick for Arsenal. Through Skelly to take. Rolls that back to Piero Incapa. Curious to see his new fella Thatcher just throw Victor Gyökeres on in the post stages. Gabriel Jesus had a wrecked start to the season due to injury. There's another possible option. Has actually played in the Premier League so far since the start of 25-26. Would anticipate that the score stays as it is. Malteta will go for Pro. Here's Odegaard. Everybody Chelsea going back in their own defensive third. Liam Delat trying to lead the press on Declan Rice. He finds Skelly, now Madueke. Tiptoed up to the edge of the Chelsea kind of chair. Stop bullets down this left-hand side with the cat middle. Gusto hooks out the ball. Odegaard will take over. Now Madueke tried to drag past Enzo Fernandez. Fall eventually for Declan Rice. Rolled into the feet of Marina. He trusts it. Nudge it on to Eze. Chelsea just throwing everything at it here to try and clear this latest spell of Arsenal pressure, but Luis Skelly will keep things moving for Mikel Arteta's team. Mosquera. Now Odegaard. Just count back in the sensitive position here as Odegaard tries to orchestrate something. Stare it. And Marino back with Mosquera, who's just up almost as a right winger here. Didn't fancy Boston cross in there. Mikel Marino, the only real target to aim at there. And eventually, as he tries to play the wall pass over to Bukayo Saka, skids out of play for Chelsea throw. Chelsea players screaming about Cucurella to hurry up. Strong's over to take this in front of the corner flag. No rush here from Correa or Chelsea. They know their place in this game. Hold on to this one all. Possibly try and pitch something later on. And third from Cucurella, one back by Marino. Tried barge his way into the penalty area. Reece James slips a foot in and concedes the corner. So 20 minutes to go here. Delicately balanced. Marshall had to come from behind against the 10 men. The emphasis will be right on them to try and force something from this. Starting with this Bukayo Saka corner. Plenty of Arsenal bodies forward here. Inside the 6-yard box, Timber, Mosquera, Marino. Saka hoisted in. Sanchez just about manages to get in from top. Mosquera played that one relatively easily, the Spaniard. A busy few weeks over to the end of 2026 for both Arsenal and Chelsea. Advance to the League Cup and the Champions League. Alongside Bannerton there. Premier League exploits. James flings that over to the left hand side for Garnacho. The opportunity to try and twist during Timber one way and the other. Lead support gets it from Cucurella, the overlap. Lifted it towards that, so knocked down. Raya gets there. Good fit in there from Miles Lewis Skelly. Just managed to put Neto off his leap as he tried to steer that one on goal. Martin Odegaard built for Arsenal through the centre circle. Chelsea flooding back in numbers here. Reece James is rallying in the troops here. Madueke back to Incapa. But he is to be pushed up as a central striker alongside Mikel Marino. There is Saka. Turns him away from Cucurella. Who spins that one over the top of Sanchez's bar. He's tried that a few times so far today, but Saka. And here's the Saka goal. Rolled it in off the right-hand side, getting onto that left foot and let it fly. And now we see another Arsenal change. It is Victor Gyökeres. He will place Ebery Chieze for the 18 minutes or so here. Imagine that will be two up top for Arsenal, Gyökeres and Merino. Sanchez goes low. Chimney gets there before Garnacho. Correa headed forward. Nice beats to that. James beats Verita. Really ahead of that from Reece James, and can't be forced into a bit of evasive action, and that Walker Drivens gets the job done. Chelsea are within these little tussles in the middle of the pitch where they need to, and eagerly in that instance. John Marino goes down. He's caught late by Enzo Fernandez. The Verita has just pulled a little bit deeper, but as Arsenal pulls forward, he will get right up alongside Victor Gyökeres. Strength by Saka and Madueke. Martin Odegaard pushed up very, very high as well. Arsenal happy to go for this. They know there is an opportunity here. Chelsea naturally begin to tire. Madueke drive that net up. Here's a good bit of defending. Yes, mark to Correa. Madueke just about manages to get across him. Correa with the vital clearing header. Muffed it back in towards Bukayo Saka. He could steer it across the face of Sanchez's goal, gathered in by the Chelsea keeper. Right idea from Bukayo Saka, just spotted that Marino and Gyökeres both making runs across the 6-yard line, but not able to get his foot around the ball and give Sanchez a headache to deal with. Here's Kiero Hincapié over the halfway line. It's got Lewis Skelly and Hani Madueke both for support in this left channel, but posing steal to Marino. Out Rice. Mosquera. Space for him to dart forward. Chelsea happy to just drop off and sit strung out on the edge of their own penalty box. Saka once again to come in field. Just manages to clip another little ball under the top and behind for a goal kick. Ball to Chubang's there, Bukayo Saka. And quite have the confidence to take the shot on, and if that was a cross, it certainly wasn't what he wanted to execute. Wants Mikel Arteta to have up his sleeve for the final 15 here. Sanchez clears down field. Rice wins the first header. Saka chased backwards by Cucurella. Maicem shoots initiative into the space vacated there by Cucurella. So Odegaard with a bit of green grass to dart into here. Saka recovers. Timber outside and tries to go into Saka. Put out inside the Chelsea penalty area. But here is Trevor Chalobah. He stretches those long legs of his over the halfway line. Tries to go into Garnacho. Two Chelsea players not on the same wavelength there. Arsenal will recover over by their corner flag. Mosquera. Forward across the halfway line, so Marino misses out in Hincapié this time, but first time to Madueke, but Neto will knock that one out for a throw-in. Both managers being told by Sam Barrett, the fourth official, just to step back into the technical areas. Tensions high for both of them. Enzo Maresca trying to rally his players, hold on to what they've got, and be sure they don't crack and crumble. Mikel Arteta certainly sniffs the win here. Timber goes to the byline, is blocked off by Wesley Fofana. Timber thought that was a corner in Arsenal's favour. Referee says goal kick. And ball mission was intended for Victor Gyökeres, and Timber just gave him the shout. Two players above clashing into each other, and it's is indeed the final touch off Jurrien Timber. Often you say this in a Premier League game, but the officials, big decisions and small today. For my money, they've got pretty much everything absolutely bang on. But a difficult situation for Anthony Taylor to manage. And 3 Arsenal players carded inside the first half an hour. Threatened to completely derail this game. Moses Caicedo's red was checked and graded following a VAR consultation, and just seconds tomorrow. I don't think he will have too many complaints either. Timber gives way into the cheap foul there as Alejandro Garnacho was wooden backwards into his own half and caught from behind by Arsenal's right back. It's a free kick for Chelsea here. White over on that far left top side. Just inside Arsenal territory. And Neto to take. Sasana and Shadowart was wheeled up from the back. The Interlacti there as well. Neto receiving some last minute instructions from Reece James. Floats it in by Neto. It's knocked down by mostly for far there. Arsenal do manage to clear it away. There's a Chelsea player down inside the penalty area here, but play on as Ducouré as well to win back possession. And Delap strikes them. Chip is skid off the ground in front of David Raya. Just to gather it in. Fernandes gets the initial contact there. Fofana trying to steer it on goal. And eventually Delap straight at David Raya. Arsenal now on the front foot. Bukayo Saka storming forward. Can he work this on? Infield on into his left foot. Does, but again, slashes that over the top of the crossbar. Anthony Taylor's attention just took on to an issue at the other end of the pitch. Enzo Fernandez is engaged in some verbals with David Raya. Raya wasn't happy at what he thought was play active from the Argentinian. He went down during that free kick from Pedro Neto. So final 10 minutes now. Chelsea holding firm. Arsenal just starting to get a little edgy as the dark arts of the Blues keeping them frustrated. Enzo Fernandez again right in the middle of it, tagged in with Jurrien Timber over on that far side, wins it from him. Chelsea number 8 in a battle again away here with Timber. Wants a foul, doesn't get it. Correa just rags Jurrien Timber to the floor, and Shisha goes against it. Quick restart from Raya to Hinkapie. Space to storm forward down this left hand side. Chelsea just a bit out of shape momentarily. And longs it in seal to Declan Rice on the halfway line. Mosquera. This is interesting from Mikel Arteta, who's asked Bukayo Saka and Donny Madueke to switch wing. Saka, Terry's only been actually seen on this left hand side for Arsenal, not since his early days in the first team. Rice is ball to dart across over on the far side to get there in front of Delap. Saka on the left hand side. We do not see that very often. Miles Skelly here just tangling inside the centre circle with Reece James. He's been absolutely superb today for Chelsea. Has led by example. Either side of the Caicedo red card, and won himself a free kick there. Vital Marino knocking it to the floor this time. Every second counts in this type of situation for Chelsea as they speak on towards the end of the game. 5 minutes added on at the end of the first half. I'd probably guess we'll be in that similar territory at the end of the second. Sanchez waddled us forward to take this free kick. inside the centre circle for Chelsea. The rest are happy to push everyone forward for a set piece. Sanchez knocks it up towards Diabda. He gets there front off in Cape, but it's dealt with by Lewis Skelly, and then hammered forward by Ryan. Taken down on the halfway line now by Trevor Shadaban. Enzo Fernandez. Stretches, footed for Madueke there. Keeps possession for Chelsea inside the centre circle now with Fofana. Child happy to go all the way back to Robert Sanchez and just keep Chelsea ticking over. You throw in for Chelsea there. Garnacho up against Timber. Midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, over on the far left for Chelsea. Cucurella hurls down the line for Delac. He'll scrap away there with Timber and Mosquera. Certainly have been Osliam Delap's game. Sure, that's a great effect at Ipswich last season. He will battle and scrap with anybody. That's what he's been brought on by Enzo Maresca for this game. Keep Arsenal on their toes and make sure, starting from him, Chelsea keep the back door knocked. These Rice, Mosquera. Just tiptoes over the halfway line here to Chilin Timber. Mosquera back to Rice. Arsenal need to get a bit of zip, a bit of tempo about them if they're going to find a winner here. They should absolutely shoot Chelsea, just carouseling the ball side to side, trying to pick a little gap, big up Blues resistance. Madueke this time down the right up against Cucurella. Just run out of road there. Comes it out of play, good defending from Mark Cucurella. Tim Taylor again with a quick word for Robert Sanchez on the delay in restarts. Bobby Sanchez's final warning. He is one of the players who's not been booked so far today, Robert Sanchez. There's no Mark Cucurella in Chelsea Blue that is sitting on the card as we head into the final 5 minutes. Be minus size on the booking. And see what Chelsea want. Stop start. Foul halfway there was Cucurella as his hands wrapped around Muddy Madueke. Then Marino catches James, so the decision might just go the opposite direction. Chalobah, hey, look towards to that. Beautifully Northern Captain able to win that header summit on Miles Lewis Skelly to clear away up towards Nick Tioka, as we've seen very little of him since it's come on. Chelsea will try and go from back to front as quickly as they can here. That's a nice hold up on the edge of the penalty by Pedro Neto. A really important challenge from Declan Rice as Enzo Fernandez tries to brace in and gather that loose ball. Clearing tackle on the halfway line from Matt Gusto and Miles Lewis Skelly. Now it's Chelsea's turn to advance down their right hand side. Gusto with the cross. That will not be checked in play by Alejandro Garnacho. Goal kick for Arsenal. Chelsea are preparing to change all true for the final few minutes. And Maresca looks to just shut this down. Points apiece, of course, didn't change Arsenal's position at the top of the table, but it does move Chelsea back up to second. 3 points behind them as it stands. 29 for Arteta, 26 for Enzo Maresca. That is, of course, unless there is to be a final twist. Odegaard curls the cross in, gathered by Sanchez. Devils out immediately to Pedro Neto. He's got pace to charge away here. Miles Lewis Skelly caught upfield, so it's Neto against Nkape once again, and Neto goes for the curler. Did have enough whip and bend there to sit back into the top corner of David Raya's goal. itching to get himself in on that left foot and try and zip one beyond the Arsenal number one. Just it's down a bit more time for Chelsea, and Arsenal will make those changes. He might wait till added time, potentially. There's been Juventus taken on and off, and Juventus put on and then taken off rather in the Chelsea technical area. Managing the minutes, managing the seconds here. Try and disrupt Arsenal's momentum in the Premier League. Derby win over Spurs last weekend, but they were frustrated at Sunderland in their previous league game. Timber tries to link over on that right hand side. Jokeres with the layoff. Moreno with the drive. Sanchez with the save. Jokeres has gone guided in here on Ronald Sanchez after he leapt to his feet to repel him. And there's another decision here for Anthony Taylor. Both sets of players have gone streaming in. Ronald Sanchez has stayed down. And there's a yellow card for Victor Jokeres. Really good save initially. Frank Rabah Sanchez just springs to his left hand side to keep out the attempt from Marino. He's raising his hand here to shake the one of apology effort by Victor Jokeres. Marino was on the stretch there as he just steered it on target at the edge of the box. And now the traditionalists here say that Victor Jokeres has every right to go for that ball, as Robert Sanchez doesn't have it in his hands. But he's gone skying in on the Chelsea goalkeeper. It's definitely a yellow card. I think this may possibly be looked at by the AR. Jokeres is only possible to say the graces. He just both stood first in. Otherwise, it could have been much, much worse for him and for Robert Sanchez. The Chelsea players are not happy about that one bit. Final minute of the 90 here. It's all eyes back on Anthony Taylor. Robert Sanchez is okay. And that may just save Victor Jokeres' skin, because that was right in that territory in between the yellow and the red. Chelsea has already been reduced to 10 men. They're making that point to Anthony Taylor, but to no avail. So, final few seconds of the 90. Sam Barrett will update us on added time in the coming seconds. Sanchez back on his feet. But him again is back underway here. Everybody in Chelsea blue over the halfway line. They want Sanchez to go long he does. Bit of head tennis here as Declan Rice knocks it back onto the halfway line. Neto caught there by Alsman Steady. Play on, says the referee. Chelsea have got possession down this right hand side. Neto has stayed down as Marino comes across and challenges Christo. So he will be halted now for Pedro Neto to be looked at. Because the Rashidi there has just told him to get on with it if he's not significantly hurt. Just fought on the back of the ankle by Myers and Skelly. And it has 2 minutes added on. Chelsea throw in here. So Matt Augusto hurled down the line for Delac. Gives away a foul there. Skelly just screened it in front of him. Arsenal won't get on with this quickly. Declan Rice, who's effectively moved back as a sweeper in the last 20 minutes to allow all these attacking players that Arteta was brought on to try and do the business at the other end. Nothing doing so far. Here's Martin Odegaard. Again, that Chelsea press. Sourcing it backwards from Astro this time. Hikape over the halfway line. Bored on by his manager here. Victor Jokeres will show for him. Instead just squares it in field for Mosquera. Rice. Saka being manhandled there by Marc Cucurella. Declan Rice strides forward. Ball in, cleared away. Pedro Neto can't get Chelsea moving forward. Good anticipation there from Miles Divisketty. Now Madueke. So Gusto on the back foot inside the Chelsea penalty area. The full-fecking Cape to trail one in. Saka with it up there. Gyökeres can't get there. Cleared away by Trevor Chalobah. All hands to the pump here for Chelsea. And eventually, it's a delayed flag that flashes up. Bukayo Saka, who just went a little early there when the ball came in from Nkapé and stopped Arsenal's momentum. And 2 minutes of the additional 4 have been played. We should wait for Robert Sanchez. We can just take a quick glance ahead. Arsenal's next Premier League game is Wednesday night. Home to Brentford. That's a 7:30 start. We will have live audio coverage here on Flash Score. Chelsea fans fighting the nails here. They're away at Leeds on Wednesday evening. Again, we will have live audio coverage for that. 8:15 p.m. kickoff at Ellen Road. To 90 seconds to go here. Weiss again takes that on the half turn inside the centre circle. And it's going to be a late hurrah from Arsenal. It needs to be now. And it needs to be something pretty special because Chelsea have defended with their lives here. Timbers cross from the right, blocked by Cucurella. Almost span there to Miles Divisketty on the edge of the D on Chelsea's penalty area, but cleared away. Raya will hammer that back up into the sky. Knocked forward by Pedro Neto. Throw into Arsenal, just over the halfway line. Quickly taken by Piero Nkapé. Miles Divisketty. Final minute of added time. Down to Rice. Now Divisketty again. Mosquera. Nkapé. Everybody but Raya pushed into the Chelsea half of the field. It's the Chelsea defensive third, really. Madueke takes over down this near left-hand side. Got them into the byline of Piero Nkapé. Nkapé, they're chilling to the box. And that's apparently a bit of defending in there from Trevor Chalobah. Gets the touch in front of Gyökeres. Saka will try and recycle it. Punches back in. I've headed over by Mikel Merino. That was the chance there for Arsenal. But there's 2 defenders back in place as Nkapé lifts this one in. The Timber does get close on it, but it's Chalobah. He just gets in front of him, does enough to make sure he can't quite get a clean header on it. Gyökeres was flying in behind him. And without actually getting it, touch on the ball there, Trevor Chalobah. He may have just saved a point for his team. We are beyond added time. We're into extra time and the end of the third. As Sanchez goes long and Anthony Taylor calls full time here at StamfordBridge. As the home side battle over the line to at this point at the end. Moises Caicedo's first half red card, the big talking point. But it's all as even at the bridge. Chalobah not in the home side in front just after the restart. Mikel Merino yet again against Chelsea, dragging Arsenal back level. For the 11 men gunners unable to squeeze over the line with victory. Chelsea get the point. Arsenal settle for the draw. It's all over here and Flash Score. It is Chelsea win.